if you're under 30, you need to watch this video today. Here's the thing. I'm just going to reveal to you the harsh truths, which no one else is actually willing to tell you. Here's the thing. I'm going to break down on every single element you need to do to become the man who you need to be before you are of the age of 30. The reason why I'm saying this is because men in society are weak. Men in society have no backbone, are not willing to move forward, and it's only the 1%, the crazy people like me, the people who do not give up, the people who just keep on trying again and again and again and again. We do not give up. Here's the thing. I want to show you how to become a man like me. And also the thing is that I run a marketing agency. I make over 6 figures a year. This didn't just happen with just magically just making happen. No, this actually happened through hard work, dedication. And I'm just going to show you the person who I need to be, because these are all the building blocks that made me successful. These are the building blocks which got me to where I am today. So as I said, you need to understand this. And also here's the thing. I've got more life experience than what most guys do in their 30s and 40s. So I'm a perfect one to actually explain to you what you need to actually do if you're under the age of 30. As I said, I'm only 21. I'm only new to adulting, but also I have lived more years than what you do. I have been through more stress. I have been through more pain. I have been through more heartbreaks. I have been through more problems. More money, more problems. That's how the world works. So, as I said, what I'm going to explain to you is the building blocks which made me over 6 figures a year, all at the age of 20. Here's the thing. As I said, I'm 21 now. So let's just jump into it. So firstly, the most important thing out there, and I know you hear it from everyone, this is what you need to do to become successful. Because I know you're thinking, no, it's mindset. Yes, but before you have the right mindset, you need to get into shape. Hold on, let me just grab a pen. Your health is the most important thing you can start off with. So your health is important because what your body looks like, what your body does, what your body reflects is based on what you are mentally and internally. That's why I'm telling you it is so, so important. Here's the thing. I wouldn't be able to get to where I am today. I wouldn't be able to be who I am today if I didn't actually end up fighting, if I didn't actually end up going to the gym, if I didn't try to become an Olympic rower. Here's the thing. The reason why I'm saying this is because it all comes down to this building block. Your body is a reflection of how you see yourself. Yes, I know, for example, even you point this out, I'm skinny, but also the thing is, I'm muscular as well. I'm skinny, but I've got muscles. I'm not just like some skinny fat dork. The reason why I'm saying health is so important is because when it comes to your diet, when it comes to your physical shape, when it comes to you exercising, when it comes to you sleeping, these are all very, very important. And also, before I say anything, here's the thing. If you guys want to learn how to run a marketing agency all the way up to, let's just say 25 grand a month, 10K a month, 5 grand a month, I will show you how to do it. Here's the thing. If you guys want to learn how to do it, click the link below in the description. Or if that's, maybe that's a bit too risky for you, maybe you don't want to book in a call, just join Prime Acquisition. That's my school community. That's where I help you out. Also, it's free, by the way, so I can help you guys out because some of you guys are too scared to spend money. And this is also what we're going to cover in this video. But I can help you guys out with starting your marketing agency, get your first client, and then you can actually end up building more and more success. So yeah, I'll show you in that. Click the link down below, join Prime Acquisition, and then we can go from there. Or if not, if you're actually serious and dedicating yourself, I'm only accepting 5 people this month. Click the link below, sign up for my coaching, go from there, whatever. Let's go. So here's the thing, eating right. There's different types of diets. So let me just say for me, for example, I work best off a mix between carnivore and intermittent fasting. So what I do is I literally live off of just caffeine and pretty much primary meat type of, food. What I generally eat is either like a steak, eggs, fish, because fish is a very big thing, especially for my family because we're all from Europe. I don't know, I'm living in Australia. I'm a European. What a big surprise. But basically fish, eggs, coffee, and meat. Those are my bread and butter. That is what I have the primary source of my energy to be off. Because with caffeine, you move quicker. With energy drinks, with caffeine, with water, you feel more alive. You feel more alive and you want to get more done. You want to get more done so then you're able to move forward. Once you're able to move forward quicker, you're able to then actually get what you want because you're not going to be able to get forward quicker if you don't have momentum. And here's the thing though, when you start basically locking in the right diet, you're then just going to basically start slowly having an exponential compounding growth. With the exponential compounding growth, which basically what it means is basically you're able to go to 0 to 100 like really, really quickly. For all those guys who don't understand, you're able to go there very quickly. So you're able to speed up, speed up, speed up. It's decision making. Attack, 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 attack. Does that sort of make sense? Yeah. And it's also like, hey, you might be vegetarian. What foods work for you? What foods don't clutter your mind? What foods make you not want to sleep? What foods make you want to move forward? What foods make you want to attack the day with the actual presence and ability of someone who's a fighter? This is when we go up to the next part. It's like even as well, let's just say if you work out with paleo, you cut out all of this sugar, you focus on that. Because once you get your brain right, you get everything locked in. You get the carbs, you get the meat, you get the fats, then you're able to move forward quicker. It's about what's finding out the right diet type for you. Then for the next one, this isn't necessary, especially if you are a man. You need to go to a gym. I would highly, highly, highly recommend that you go to a fight gym. Start off with a fight gym, because with a fight gym is where you earn your scars. It's like, I've got this thing in my hand. Do you think I didn't know that from a fight gym? And I've got you can tell off my nose. I'll take my glasses off. You can tell off my nose. It's a bit stuffed up because I broke my nose about 6 times. Anyway, I can go on. Here's the thing. Starting, being in, and getting involved with the fight gym is the best thing you can do. It's a sense of brotherhood. You will meet so many guys on a similar level to you. Yes, obviously there are exceptions within the gym. There are people who are, let's just say, who only want to fight. People who are like degenerates on weekend. Or people who are like, hey, I want to start business. I'm locked in. I want to move forward. But yeah, you will get those different types of people. But the thing is, when you fight together, when you punch each other, when you guys get, as I said, like when I got broken noses, when I've also had like guys tap me out, where I've had all of that sort of stuff. You build a community. You're a community with the boys who you train. The boys who you train are a group of your boys at the end of the day. And then being a group of your boys will make your life a lot easier, because then here's the thing. When you start going to a fight gym, you have to deal with the hard stuff. You can't just be like, I'm just going to be completely avoidant for the rest of my life. No, life will massively, massively, massively punish you if you try and avoid your problems. Going to a fight gym, locking in a sport, whether it's boxing, Muay Thai, Jiu-Jitsu, I don't really care, but I'd honestly recommend just doing sparring. Honestly, boxing or Muay Thai are my 2 go-tos, is what I'd recommend for you guys. Because, as I said, you get to fight each other. You get to be hurt. You get to deal with the blood noses. You get to deal with the pain. You get to deal with the stress of, I don't know if I'm going to be able to take this guy on, because you're stressed. And also, my personal recommendation is have a fight. It is the best thing you can do to become a man. In my opinion, you are not a man up until you've had your first fight. Here's the thing. I've had 2-0. Like, I am the best. Like, I fully believe I am the best fighter in the world. Even though I get told from other people, oh, this is terrible. This is terrible. This is where you need to improve. And it's just more so, it builds up the confidence, builds up the resilience. You can believe you are the man and you're capable of achieving such things. This is what happens. And also, let's just say, once you start winning your first fight, it then, drips away into other elements of your life. And let's just say, even if it's like judo or jiu-jitsu, whatever, at least it's actually getting you ready for more physical contact. Because in your life, you are not a man if you cannot deal with physical altercations. You're not going to be as attractive as what you are. You're not going to be able to handle yourself. Or even like, let's just say you're in a stressful situation, you're not going to be able to deal with that. Let's just say, hey, someone wants to start a fight. You physically have the ability to either stop it or talk your way out of it. And obviously you don't want to stop it. Well, obviously you want to stop it, but that's when you use the ability to talk your way out of it, because you're like, hey, this guy's bigger and scarier than me. I know this guy can absolutely break me. So what can I say? What can I do? How can I move forward? How can I actually end up helping them? Out of this situation. It's like as well, one of my favorite people who I love to fight, Ricky the Rat Man. You can follow him up. He's on Instagram. He taught me the biggest lessons. So get this, I was 75 at the time, and he was about 105, 110. I was getting beat up by a heavyweight. It was the best thing ever. Actually, that's also how I broke my nose 6 times. But anyway, you learn so much, because you're not going to learn anything as a man if you're not dealing with hard stuff, if you're not dealing with stress, if you're not dealing with struggles, if you're not dealing with pain. And also, I will uncover that later, because you also get access to a part of yourself which you will not get any other way. Because when you start fighting, you get access to a part of yourself which is so unaway from the norm, because all these gay school systems are like, oh, you got to be soft, you got to be like this. It's yes, but the thing is, when you become a fighter, when you become the man who can train, when you become the man who knows you can win, you need that softness. That softness then becomes a part of you, especially when you're around your people that you love. But when you're in certain situations, you then become the killer who you need to become. And this is also when I go up to the next part. This is when you need to also go to a commercial gym. Commercial gym, build up your stature. So what I mean by that is basically build up your muscles, build up your confidence. Let's just say maybe get better with your cardio, get better with obviously looking better, getting in shape, getting like that sort of bodybuilder-like lifestyle, but don't completely go down there, because honestly, you are so much better off being, let's just say, a skinny build than being some massive roid head who's just done enough steroids in his life to kill like a small family. But yeah, you're better off doing that, because once you end up start going to commercial gym, start gaining some muscles, you feel better, you feel more agile, you're able to move more. Like you can look at the videos that I'm in. I'm always moving. I don't get tired. I only get tired whenever I eat. But yeah, you do not get tired. And then we go up to the next part, sleep. Sleep is very, very important because sleep is how you rebuild. Sleep is how you actually, get better. Sleep is how you get into shape, how your brain rewires. Sleep is a very, very important. But it's also going to consider how much sleep are you getting? Is the sleep actively helping you or making your life worse? How much sleep are you getting? What sort of state are you in? What sort of thought process are you doing with your sleep? How much sleep do you need? How much sleep can you live off? How much sleep can you successfully live off for about a month? And then you can work off it from there. As also, the most important thing is, especially for you guys who are very, very entrepreneurial. I don't care about anyone else. Especially for you guys who want to start businesses, start moving forward, start creating content, start doing stuff like this. What are you guys doing? How many hours are you sleeping a night? How are you achieving your goals? What, are you sleeping 8 hours a night? Do you really think I've had periods of my life where I've slept 8 hours a night? Sleep 8 hours a night? Yes and no. It depends on what stage you're in. Because I very much go by the Hormozi rule. You got to have seasons because you can't be able to do something for such a prolonged period of time without being into the next season. Let's just say I've got season 1, which is, let's just say, fight camp. Season 2, which is work, lock in to build 10, 15, 20, 30, 50K a month. And then the next one is how much sleep is actually required for you to do that. How much sleep can you live off? Consider it of what do I need to do? How can I attack this? How can I still keep on earning more money? That's all very important. And this is why we go on to the next part. Income. What are you doing to earn a wage? What are you doing to earn your money? Are you, running a business, earning a job? Also, here's the thing. If you guys want to learn how to actually make proper money, not just slaving away at your last job, I'd click the link down below, sign up to my school, or if I was you guys, which my school's free, by the way, at the moment, or if I was you guys, I'd also click the link to the description, claim your free discovery call. We can have a bit of a chit chat, see if we actually align, and then we can go from there. But yeah, okay. So it's your job and your business. When it comes to your job, how are you earning your money? What, do you have a university degree? Are you working some last job? What are you doing? How, for your job, it's stable income because you earn set amount per month or per week or whatever, or per fortnight. There's no risk. But it being no risk is also the most riskiest move because with it being no risk, you think, hey, I'm in a stable job. I earn 100 grand a year. I move forward. I keep on nodding my head saying, yes, boss, yes, boss, yes, boss, and just keep on moving forward. So with no risk, don't you think with no risk, it is the most riskiest move? Because when you don't take any risk, you don't get any reward. When you earn your stable job, it's just like, hey, I'm just driving along a highway going forward. You're not actually doing anything. Whereas let's just say if you were to, let's just say start taking risks. So let's just say you got your first job. Then after that, you took your first cruise. Then after that, you went bankrupt. Then after that, you still continued your first job, took another risk. Then you just suffered the consequences of it. And then you went up and you got a successful business. Then you got to basically deal with all the staff, management, employees. And then after that, you hit your big break. It's like, seriously, if you understand that, it's like, why are you working a job? Because you guys clearly understand no risk, no reward, no pain, no gain. And it works the exact same way when it is when building up your dream life. Also, let's just say if you guys are still even running a business and you're like, hey, I might want to get out of it, or hey, what do I need to do to basically improve? The thing is think about it like this. What is the biggest thing stopping you at the moment? Are you trying to focus on opportunities or are you trying to focus on, your maintaining your income ceiling? Because depending on what job you have, depending on what business you have, you could possibly be working just an overinvested job. Basically, you work more hours, you literally just end up slaving away, paying the taxman, paying super, paying whatever, paying the IRA, whatever. And then you just end up, just moving forward. Or if you want to start a business, what business are you going to run? How are you going to manage your time more effectively? How are you going to become who you need to become? How are you going to get that business to where you need to go? Let's just say you want to start e-com, for example. What are you going to do to start e-com? What are you going to hire a mentor? What are you going to try it out? What are you going to lose money? How are you going to run ads? How are you going to do content? It's all very, very complicated. It's not really, but it's all complicated because that's how you guys see it, because it's not very straightforward. But it's also like when you run a business, what type of business? Do you want to a marketing agency, AI, SaaS, tech, whatever? What are you doing? How are you trying to run that business? What's the income ceiling? But also you got to be careful of how many more opportunities can you take? Because it's like, the thing is, especially because you're under the age of 30, you can take as many opportunities as humanly possible. You can become bankrupt, you can become broke, you can live again, you can get a girl pregnant, you can live the way you want to live and still have no consequences. Because the good thing is that you're literally scratching off instant scratches. So basically what I'm saying is basically scratch it off, take the chance. Do I win the lotto? No, I don't. Hey, scratch it off, win a chance, do I win the lotto? And that's one of my favorite things by Hormozi, is because it's like, hey, What am I doing? How am I moving forward? Let's just say 21 at the moment, my age. What am I doing to move myself forward? It's like, hey, I've got a marketing agency, I've got a SaaS company, I've got a coaching business, I've got tradings and investments, I've got, like, I also do consulting on that because I understand. Or it's like, hey, what else do I do? SaaS, yeah. Anyway, I do more stuff than that. But it's like, what do I do? How do I take advantage of those opportunities? What networks, what circles, what groups of people am I around? And this is when it gets up to the next part. When it comes to investments, how are you making money, make money work for you? I would not worry about this unless you're earning over 10K a month. Do not worry about that unless you're earning over 10K a month. Okay? Because if you think about it, property is expensive. How can I afford property? I need to be earning more than 10K a month. Oh, what a genius idea. Because when you start earning more than 10K a month, obviously then you're going to deal with property taxes and all this other government, Fugazio, basically blah, blah, blah. The governments are raw anyway. Basically property investments. How are you trying to get that? What are you using for your yielding? Where are you investing at? What are you doing? What's your strategy? Because you've got to have a strategy because you're not going to get anywhere if you don't have a roadmap. Then also goes to the next one, shares and businesses. What businesses are you looking at? What assets are you looking in? How are you investing into it? Let's just say gold, silver, or even let's just say something like, what, Pepsi, for example. What are the businesses doing? How they're going up? Or even like the S&P 500. What is that doing? You're going to consistently DCA it, which is dollar cost average. How are you moving that forward? When it comes to crypto, what coins are you in? Are you in Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana? What are you actually doing? How are you actually moving forward? So then you can know, hey, let's just say, hey, I'm happy making 5% a month because my low yield investing strategy makes it easier for me. And then basically given what's happening on the macro level, it then allows me to then basically gain a consistent 5% per month gain. What are you doing? That's not even realistic. That's just like, that's like all right for like an investor. But that's more like you little, you guys have got no idea on what to do when it's investing. And then also we got to the next part, personality. This is one that no one actually talks about, but it's one of the most important elements that we need to actually cover. What is the light? What is the dark? What is the dark? And also here's the thing, I was watching Fight Club last night, so I was just thinking, hey, you know what? This is actually more important because no one else actually talks about it. And this is when you go into the yin and the yang, because everything in life is good and bad, beautiful and ugly. Everything is yin and yang. It's to exist and to not exist. It is to speak and not to speak. Okay, firstly, what is the positives? What do you bring to your life? What do you bring to the table? How do you help others? Who are you? Who's the best version of you? Think about it like this. What is the best elements of you? How do you become that person? What do you do? What do you give? What do you achieve? How do you provide to be that person? Then we go up to the next one. What do you give? What positive elements of you do you provide to other people? It's like, how do you provide support? How do you provide, like obviously, how do you provide? How do you give people? How do you give back? What do you do to help people move forward? What are the best elements of you? You can even ask people, it's like, hey, what do you like about me the most? Honestly, what do you like about me the most? And this is when you can go up to the next part, the dark side. This is my favorite side. This is the part of you that's the animalistic. This is a part of you that is the beast, that is willing to, attack, move forward, hunt. This is the darkest part of you, which a lot of people don't want you to know because it honestly hurts so much to unravel. But once you actually get a hold of it, once you become the person who can hold it, deal with it, and think, okay, sweet, I've got two elements. Okay, because I've got a killer side of me, and then I've got a very tame, soft, sweet version of me. Okay, how can I deliver and live in a world that balances the two? Because obviously I'm then going to deal with some moments where I get the happy-go-lucky side, and I am going to deal with other moments where I get the dark, like I want to, like the killer side of you, where you're like, hey, I don't know if this is going to work. I want to punch this guy. I really, really want to punch this guy, but how's it going to work? Think about it like that. So the dark side. What are you in the dark triad? This is something that no one actually ends up bringing up. What are you in the dark triad? Are you like a narcissistic? So basically based on the ego. Basically the ego is what makes us us. The ego is also, let me just put this contrarian, so the opposite point of view. The ego is nothing. The ego only represents our emotions, our feelings based on the world we live in. Our ego is only real as much as what we believe we are real. Because when we put our ego into stuff, we have a biases and we have a basis that isn't based on the neutrality of the world. With our ego, we believe, hey, I am the correct position. Hey, I believe I am this person. Hey, I believe I am, let's just say Dean, for example. Or let's just say if your name's like Joel or John or Luke, whatever, who's on the opposite side of things. So it's like, hey, Your ego then perceives the world, and your ego then makes you the most important. So with narcissism, it makes you believe you're the most important person. Like you've seen like a narcissist, like they believe they're the best, the very, very best. And what do they act? How do they become? And how do they move in the world to basically act like that? How do they act like that character? Then it goes down to Machiavellianism, which basically means how do they manipulate and construe the public into believing what they want them to believe. So these are very smart, very tactical types of people. This is honestly the person that I'm more like, because what I do is I'm a marketer. You guys already know that. Also, if you guys want to, click the link below, claim the free discovery call. We can have a bit of a chit chat. Or if not, if you guys just want to get something free, claim the school down below. I'm just adding to it. It's a founder's edition, so it's free at the moment. Or you can also end up paying for it, but whatever. It's also like, okay, what part of you can manipulate? If you look at every single good marketer, every single good salesman out there, they have this Machiavellianism to them. How can they manipulate? How can they change the way you think? What can they say? What can they do? How do they change what you sort of believe? We're sort of like puppet masters at the end of the day. Yes, I know I'm saying this is probably going to ruin my credibility, but at least I'm telling you guys the truth. It's like, how can I move people? What can I say? How can I move this customer to the best place possible? What can I say? How can I attack this? What thought patterns do they have? How can I change the way that they think, idea, and perceive the world? What could I say? Could I maybe say, hey, like this is honestly just one of my favorite things, is just provide them with a completely incorrect statements. It's like, okay, hey, marketers only make 150 grand a year. And they're like, no, marketers only make 240 grand a year. Or for example, it's a very direct statement, which then gets them to then reveal the truth. It gets them to reveal what do they think? What is it actually like? Because then you're able to say these statements, say these things, so then you're able to control the board. Because these people are probably the best chess players out there, the Machiavellianism. It is my favorite out of the three, and it is one that I have studied and learned so much about. Because also, once you understand this dark triad, once you understand the ego, Machiavellianism, and also like the, how should I word it? The introversion of, which one is it? Oh, hold up. Let me just grab this one up. Let me just grab this one up. What is it? Psychopathy, that's it. So it's more like the antisocial behavior. So it's like the guilt of absence. It's a guilt of feeling anything. So it's like, what do they do? How do they think? They have no remorse with any of their actions. How do they believe that? Which one do you would like align with the most? Because this is all very important, because no one actually covers this. No one actually allows you to become one with your deepest, darkest desires. Because when you become one with your deepest, darkest desires, it reveals the most horrible version of yourself. That's it. I've been there. I've done that. I've suffered this before. This is why I'm telling you, you need to actually uncover, and you need to be the person who has the ability to construe yourself into that person that is necessary for that situation. You've got to be able to move forward. You've got to be able to basically become someone who's willing to hurt someone in a day that you also, like, let's just say, hold like your baby brother, like kiss your girlfriend, let's just say, provide your girlfriend like the best experience in the world. It's like, okay. Or even let's just say, like, become an absolute killer in the market, and then just love your family the next day, or just love your family in the same day, or even like the same hour. You've got to have access to this, because you're not actually going to become someone who is capable of actually achieving anything if you do not have access or power over the dark triad. If anything, one thing I'd say is that you need to do is start looking to your biz. Start looking to every single horrible thing you've done. Start looking into every single horrible thing you've done. Because the reason why I'm saying this is because this is then going to get you access. This is then going to give you the power to realize, hey, actually, I've done a lot of terrible things in my life. Did I believe it was the right move? Probably. Did I not know this information at the time? Yes, probably. But it's also like, why did I do this? Looking at it now, how did the situation happen? What could I say? What could I do? How can I move better? And it's also thinking, hey, if I was left in a civilization with no one out there, no laws, no rules, how would I act? How would I be? And also the thing is as well, what parts are you hiding? Because we're all hiding something. We've all got skeletons in the closet. I've got my fair share. You've got your fair share. What skeletons in the closets are you hiding? You've got to look at it. Really think. Yes, it's going to hurt. Yes, it's going to suck. Yes, you're going to be like, why am I watching this video so long? But honestly, you need to do that, because this is also the other part that I was telling you about with fighting. If you do not look at yourself, if you do not become the man or the woman who is capable of harming someone else, you will not realize how weak, how like ignorant, how intolerable you are. Because if you don't have access to that, then you're going to be like, oh, I didn't realize that people were so easy to hurt. I didn't realize that people were so easy to betray, think, and even let's just say to an example, let's just say if you're a narcissist, not narcissist, let's just say if you're a psychopath, let's just say, I didn't realize that people were so easy to manipulate, get the result that I wanted to, because everyone lives in their own emotional world. Everyone lives. And it's like, hey, I'm telling you this straight up front as a marketer. My job is to manipulate people into doing what I want them to do, which is buying a product, buying a service, buying what they need to buy so then they're able to move forward, or even creating situations which I can then control so then they're able to push you forward to certain ads, certain types of content, certain videos like this. Yeah, that's my job. I understand this. I have looked in that part of myself. I literally spent 2 years after high school literally digging down deeper and deeper and deeper and understanding myself on such a level which it's like, hey, I understand this. How can I use this as a strength? How can I use this like the biggest, worst version of me? Someone who is like willing to basically, literally just become a killer to provide such an element of like, because as I said, like honestly, my biggest thing out there is just providing for my family, providing for my loved ones, and getting myself into a position where I can get full monetary freedom, full location freedom, and then look after my family and look after my loved ones. That's my biggest thing. But also, you got to realize that I went through a hell of a lot of pain to actually get there. So it's like, why do I believe that? And that's why I say, like, I'm more of the Machiavelli type. I'm more of the Machiavelli type because I'm able to manipulate true situations into being what I want them to be. It's like even, I'm just going to tell you this up front, it's like every single relationship I've been with, the girls have been, the women have been always head over heels in love with me. Because I'm able to control situations. I'm able to get what I want. This is just me just being upfront, and this is part of yourself which you need to understand. And yes, don't you lie. You guys, you women, like everyone does it. Everyone acts in their own selfish needs, but you've got to realize that you have control and what can you and can you not do to help yourself move forward. And also, when it goes up to the next part, what is your revenge mission? Why are you on this journey? What are you saying? What are you doing? What are you able to move forward? Why do you have such spite in your heart? It's like, honestly, you should feel the anger. You should feel the pain. You should feel the want. You should feel the greed into becoming that person. Feel it. Sit there. Sit there for a moment. Absorb it. What do you hate most about the world? What do you like most? Let's just say if the world was to have no laws, where would you be? If you had no control over who you'd become, who would you be? What is keeping you up at night? And what is continuing to push you forward? You've got to realize that. That is all very, very important. And this is when I go to the next part. Because that wouldn't actually be possible if you didn't have some type of trauma, some type of pain, some type of suffering in the first place to actually allow that to happen. And this is why I say, how would you act in the world if the world had no laws? Who would you become? How would you act? What version of yourself would you be? And that's all very, very important because you need to understand if the world had no laws, you'd be a very, very, very different human being. You would have access to parts of yourself which you wouldn't have access to. And the reason why I'm telling you this is because it all goes back into this, and then to your vision. You got to look at the darkest side of yourself. I'm honestly expecting most people to click off by now because I've either told them looked way too deeply into themselves, into a part of themselves which they feared, which they hated, which they do not want to become. So like I was getting told the other night, it's just like the more and more I look inside, it just feels like I'm being stabbed with 1,000 different knives. The more and more you understand that, and that's the reality of who you actually are, you're then going to realize, what do you want to actually get out of your life? How do you want to get there? What are you willing to do to move forward? What type of business do you want to run? How do you want to get your freedom? Because everyone's got skeletons. Everyone's got skeletons in their closet. I don't care how much of a nice person you are. You've got skeletons in your closet. The nicest people have generally the most amount of skeletons in their closet. Honestly, I used to be one of you guys. And it's like the biggest thing you can do, the biggest catapult to get you to move forward is by heartbreak, is through pain, is through suffering. That's why I'm telling you this. And no, I'm not telling you this to become the next Andrew Tate. But the reason why I'm telling you this is to actually look into yourself. And it's like, why is a 21-year-old telling you guys this? Why is a 21-year-old telling you guys this? Who's basically engaged deeply in psychology and can understand how people work in like an instant of getting to know them. How can I manipulate the board so easy? Because I've done this. Also works the exact same way in any single business because every single successful business owner has this part of them unlocked. because otherwise they wouldn't be in their current position. Otherwise they wouldn't get to where they are. So it's the same thing. You guys in the 905 are even worse at this. You guys have so much anger, so much despair, so much spite, so much hatred. You literally can smell it off your skin, or you can literally see it glowing off your skin. You can see how much you hate the world, how much you want stuff to suffer and burn, especially the university students and the trades out of all of them. You guys are the biggest people who hate this. Because you all know it's true. You all know you're wasting time in periods of your life, unless it's an actual degree which you need. But yeah, this is what I'm telling you. Figure out the way how you would act if we had no laws. And this is when it comes up to the final part. Yes, I know it has become dark to become light. But what are you actually trying to achieve with your life? What are you willing to do to move forward? How are you willing to become the person who you need to become? How will you actually end up achieving your goals? And also, it's like, what business do you want? What partner? What lifestyle? Where do you want to live? What country? What place? How much do you want to pay a month in rent? This is all very, very important. This is part that not many people touch about, but it's all important. It's still all the building blocks, because you've got to build the blocks with your vision to actually allow this to happen. And this is why I've also broken it down in this order, because without the vision, so here's the thing, without health, you can't get the ability to become, mentally capable. Yes, I know a lot of people aren't even mentally capable. So you need to be able to fight. You need to be able to basically become strong. You need to become basically being able to defend yourself and defend others. Then it goes on to the next part. With being able to defend yourself and defend others, it's going to be basically giving you more energy to attack more of the day. That's why we go into sleep. And how can you use your sleep process and sleep patterns to become better? And it's like, with that spare time that you don't sleep, how can you use that to improve your wealth? What, are you going to end up working more hours in your job, or start running a business? What are you going to do with the business? Start checking out all the opportunities and then start basically getting stock up to that high income ceiling before you get that freedom? Or what are you going to do? Basically get your stable job, just continuing clocking in, clocking out, being a slave. What? Are you dealing with the stable income? What are you dealing with that? How are you going to move that forward? What? And then you're basically stuck there with no risk, no freedom. Then also it goes up to the next part. Investments. What are you doing with that extra money? So let's just say you're working an extra 2-3 hours a day. What are you doing with the investments? What are you doing with that? Putting it in the property, putting it into shares, businesses, or what are you doing? Putting it into crypto. Then after that, because it's all important, because you're not going to be able to understand yourself unless you have that. But also this is when the fighting part of yourself links to the personality, because it also unravels the dark side of you and the light. And it basically shows the light and the dark to be more and more relevant. There's also when it comes to your personality. This is when these two also link together, because the type of business, the type of jobs, the type of people who you hang around will be massively implemented, affected by your personality. What does the best side of you look like? What does the dark side of you look like? What is the shadow? What does the integration of the shadow look like? What are you capable of achieving? And this is when we go back to the yin and the yang. How are you able to become best of both worlds? Because what is real is not real. What is fake is real. Do you understand that? Then after that, it all comes down to, once you understand your personality, because you understand the light and the dark, the dreams and the desires, the hatred and the love, there's also when it goes down to the next part. How does that actually affect your vision? How does that end up affecting you to become the person you need to become? How does that end up affecting you, basically getting your goals, getting your dreams? Because it is all important elements. It all moves forward. It's all a flow chart, if you have a look at it. Because this is where it all goes. It starts off there, and then also the thing is, once you actually fix your vision, you're then able to then improve your health even more. So it's literally, all it is at the end of the day is literally just a circle. The circle of life. All it is at the end of the day is just a circle. Because otherwise, it's not going to be able to get important. You're not going to be able to move forward, because once you basically maximize on your health first, you then get more opportunities to open. Once you get more opportunities to open, you then get better jobs, better businesses. You're then able to move forward with more stride, more, and then with basically going through with earning more, you're then going to get more ability, more time to understand. What do I act like when I have more money? What are you going to be like me when I earn more money? Just basically spend it all, want to spend it all on, literally, all I did was, when I earned my first 10K a month, I want to spend it on fighting. So it's like, okay, how do I understand my personality? What's the light? What's the dark? Because there's another part of me that's very loving, very giving. I'm very soft and I'm very loving in that sort of way. And also it's like, when it comes to the dark, I'm just a complete opposite person. The only reason why I know this is because I fight, and because with enough income, I'm then able to become that person. Because worst case scenario, I need to become the darkest person because I'm earning that much. And then with me earning that much, it then goes back onto the whole wealth. And then with the whole darkness element of things, like let's say the worst version of the world and also the lightest version of the world, how does that affect your vision? If that makes sense, hopefully it does. Anyway, this is what you need to do before you get, well, before you are the age of 30. And also, if I was you guys, I'll click the link below, claim your free discovery call for my coaching program so I can help you run a marketing agency. What I can do is show you how to run a market. We'll start running a marketing agency from literally nothing all the way up to over 10K a month. And if not, if you guys want some freebies, just basically click the link below. One link in the description is my school, which is currently free because it's currently on the founder's discount. Or two, you can end up just basically claiming your free lead magnet. And yeah, other than that, if I was you guys, I would watch this video over here. The best online money methods in 2026. It's a tier list, so it shows you what's the best way to make money. Other than that, sayonara, peace out, bye-bye, and I am out of here.